Hello, class, and welcome to the introduction to the water treatment process. I'm Professor Lisa Batiste, and I want to take this opportunity to navigate through the Canvas classroom so that you become familiar with what is available to you, not only in Canvas, but also in Georgia Military College's Global Online Leadership College. And so, first thing, when you open up your class in Canvas, you're going to have your home page, and this will show you the three recent announcements that are listed in your classroom. You will also see the GMC logo, and you will see my name, my phone number, and email address, as well as important dates. And so these are the important dates for the term that I'm making this video, but it will change from term to term. Other things that you'll see is the link to the PAHV, which is the Participation Academic Honesty Verification. You will see this at the beginning of week one. And so this is very important that you complete this assignment in order to access week one's assignments and coursework, as well as it alerts our GMC enrollment team that you have participated in the classroom and it marks you as present in the class. If you don't complete it, then not only will you not have access to week one, but you will be dropped from the course. So very important that you complete that assignment as soon as you open up your Canvas classroom for week one, right? Then you have access to week zero. And so in week zero is our getting started. So you'll learn how to be successful in the course. You'll learn about the student. You'll have access to the student handbook, the Global Online Leadership College student resources. So I do want to show you this. And so make sure that you click on these links. These have a lot of helpful information that you'll need for the course. And so in the student resources, you have access to Microsoft Office. And as a student at GMC, you do have free access to Microsoft Office. And so this is the guide on how to access it. And it is available for PC as well as Mac users. And so very important because some of our assignments, you'll need access to Office for Word documents, or if you need to do a PowerPoint for one of your classes, or if you need to access Excel, all of that is through Microsoft Office and it is free to you as a student. Other useful forms, the incomplete form, request to be reinstated form. So if you are purged or dropped from a class because you didn't complete the PAHV, you can complete this reinstatement form and hope that your professor will let you back in the class. But it is up to the professor to allow you to do so. So very important that you complete that PAHV. Academic appeals form, okay, and then the academic calendar programs, the catalog, disability services. And so if you need any of this information, here are useful links to that. The library, help desk. Help desk is important if you have account issues. So you can't log into Canvas or you can't log into your email. Very important that you have access. And so you would contact the help desk. Library databases and guides, ebooks. So if you have an ebook for a particular class, important for that. The career information system, that's helpful. There's the username and password that you would use to access that system. Your student emails, transcript requests, tuition and fees, tutoring information, and the virtual bookstore. And then there's different videos and tutorials to help you. Assignments for turn it in. Okay. We no longer use Moodle, but we are in the process of updating all of these resources so that they correspond to Canvas and not Moodle. Then there are some resources to come, so check back with us later. Academic writing, okay, so for classes that have writing components, so the Writing Nook, APA style, Guide to Research, Writing Fundamentals, Writing with Style, so all kinds of helps for you. And the Writing Center, the Writing Nook, that's available to help you if you are struggling with how to write a particular paper, they can help you out with that. All right. And then information about live sessions, how to access different things, Zoom meetings, and so forth. I usually do Zoom meetings. So if you need to meet with me at some point, then just send me an email and we can set up a Zoom call. And so this is a tutorial for how to use Zoom. And then BrainFuse. BrainFuse is our online tutoring. It provides live on-demand tutoring and assignment help in a variety of subjects. And so if you're struggling in one of your classes, it is a free service for all students, and there is a link within the classroom. I will show you that. And so it's important that you get all the help that is available to you. So please take advantage of BrainFuse. All right. And then this is our student disability services. And so they do have a website. So if you need their resources, then you can contact Mr. Charles Wells. This is his phone number and his email, or you can click on the resource page. Textbook information. So our textbook is embedded within the classroom, but we do have a lab kit. And so I'll show you the link to how to access the lab kit. All right, and then here's some frequently asked questions. So maybe one of those questions may be helpful to you, and so please check through those. And this tells you about the Microsoft 365 that is available to you that I told you about. This is how to download and install it, and this is the tutorial on how to use it. All right, so going back to our week 0. So there is the success toolkit, lab report setup. So how do we set up our lab reports? So in this class, we do have a lab component, and there is a rubric on how you will be graded on lab reports and also how to set up the lab reports. And so I do want to go through this with you. All right. And so, excuse me, the general format. Excuse me, the file name, your last name, underscore lab number. And the lab number is just the week number or the module number. You are going to do this as a Word document. You can save it as a PDF as well. 2 to 3 pages of written text, and that does not include the title page or the reference page, and those are separate pages. And then your font Times New Roman 12-point font. Very important that it is double spaced with a 1-inch margin all around. Orientation should be portrait, and we're using APA for our references. And so this is how you set up the different sections. And I'm going to do a separate video on lab reports because it's very important that you understand how to do the lab reports. So I will post a separate video on lab reports only. And this is the grading rubric for that. All right. And so go through the grading rubric so that you understand, because we want to make sure that you get all of your points for your lab report. So you want to look under the 4-point column because you want it to be to have A's on our lab reports. Mm. So again, I'm gonna do a separate video, excuse me, on the lab report. This is the lab safety manual. So very important that you go through the lab safety manual because you will be quizzed on lab safety during week 3. Right? There's a periodic table of elements for you, and water treatment part 1 and part 2. These are the textbooks. Okay, and so that's gonna pop up. And so in the syllabus, and we're going to go through that in a minute, for the different modules, you will see which part that you'll need to access for the different weeks, and we'll go through the different chapters. Okay, and so this is your textbook. Okay, it is available to you so that you'll download that and have access to it at any time. All right, other resources, APA style and APA guidelines. You will have a quiz on APA guidelines so that I know that you know and understand what APA style is. And here's some other information that's going to become important for those lab reports. Okay. Also in the modules, this is that PAHV that I talked about. Okay, so very important that you complete that so that you'll have access to week one. Okay, and each week you will have access to the different modules. And so there are different assignments that are associated with it. One thing I do want to mention for week one is the water treatment class meet and greet. This, if you were in classes before and this is not your first class at GMC, you would have had the introduction form during week zero. That has changed. And so not all classes have a meet and greet, but my class does. I enjoy meeting my students and learning more about them. And so I have during week one the class meet and greet. When you get to week one, please click on there and tell us a little about yourself. And there are some questions in there that you're going to answer. And so please respond to that. It's not a graded assignment and it's not required, but it is nice to get to know you as a student as I'm working with you during this term. Okay. So that's our modules. So let's go through the syllabus. In the syllabus, I do have a welcome video here, so please view the welcome video, and then here's some information, a little more information about me. My email is listed here as well as my office phone number. My office hours are Wednesdays from 1 to 2 and Saturdays from 11 to 12. And these hours are Eastern Standard Time. And if you call me or leave me an email, please leave me your name and the class name. Very important because I do teach other classes. And so I want to make sure that I associate you with the correct class. Okay. All right, other information here in the syllabus, the course description. This is an introductory study of the water treatment process. Students will learn about managing and monitoring water treatment processes, as well as mechanical knowledge, safety, maintenance, government regulations, chemical handling, sample testing, first aid, and more. The laboratory exercises are related to lecture topics. And then the course learning objectives. A student successfully completing this course will be able to analyze water samples using appropriate calculations and measurements, identify the major processes, equipment, and instrumentation associated with the treatment of potable water. And potable water just means drinking water. Students will describe laws and regulations associated with the conveyance and treatment of potable water, and students will identify and implement safety measures used in the water treatment process. The course content, source water and reservoir management and intake structures, drinking water regulations, water treatment processes, their uses, characteristics and calculations, and plant management. And our textbook, like I showed you, it's a textbook free course, meaning that the textbook is embedded within the class, but you do need a lab kit. And so there are links to it, but there's also a link here on the side panel, the vital source course materials. Here you will have access during week one to click and get a code in order to order your lab kits, okay? Very important that you order those lab kits right away so that you'll have them back to you in order to do the first lab that we will be doing, which is week 3. Okay, so very important that you get those lab kits ordered. Mhm. The minimum computing requirements are listed here for PC, Windows 10 or higher, Mac OS 10.14 or higher. And then Microsoft 365, remember, make sure that you have that installed on your computer. Remember, it is free for GMC users. And then the internet browser, Google Chrome works really good. These others also work well. They work well for PC or Mac. Google Chrome is one of the best. It works really great for the things that you need for this class. Adobe Acrobat Reader, this is the download information. If you don't already have it on your computer, you might want to download this. You may find that some of your classes have PDFs or require that you submit things through PDF. So it's just easier to have that. And an antivirus software is good as well, since this is an online class and you're working with a lot of different links and other software for virtual classrooms, and so it's good to have. All right. Other things, speakers, microphone, printer, web camera, monitor, all of that. Very good. And then internet requirements, very important because this is an online class, that you have reliable internet connection. Very, very, very important. All right, performance criteria. Civil discourse forums are 25% of your grade. The problem sets, 10%. The quizzes are 10%. The midterm is 15%, and the final exam is 15%. And then your lab assessments are 25%. The grade percentages, 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 65 to 69 is a D, and less than 65 is an F. Okay. Then an academic grade appeals. Hopefully, we're all going to fall under that A range and we won't have to worry about academic grade appeals. But if you do, okay, then you reach out to me. I am not only the instructor, but I'm also the senior department chair for this class. All right. And then here is the list of expectations that you'll expect of me as a faculty, and these are the things that I expect of you as a student. Our ethics policy, so our honor code, I will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. So make sure that you read through our ethics policy and our special note about artificial intelligence use. Here in the course schedule, this is the list of each of our weeks, the overview, learning objectives, the reading material, and the activities for that week. And so week 1, we're going to identify and discuss water treatment operations, and it's the introduction to water treatment. So, the learning objectives: understand the history of water treatment, understand health and environmental concerns, identify characteristics of water, understand the chemical components of drinking water. Week 1 reading material, and that's listed within the module, and I'll show you that in a moment. Activities and assignments, the Civil Discourse Forum, with a focus on authentic servant leadership. The problem set 1, quiz 1, and lab assessment 1. So you'll see as it's broken down into the different weeks. Our Civil Discourse Forums, this gives you guidelines on what how to formulate your discussion, okay, and your peer responses. So not only are we going to respond to the initial prompt that's given, but we also want to respond to at least 2 of your peers, okay, each week. And you want to respond over a 2-day period. So this is the rubric for that. So if you respond to 2 of your peers, or say I post something in the discussions and you respond to me, then and one other of your peers, then that'll give you your 5 points for that. Daily participation, you want to contribute to the forum on at least 2 days. So what I suggest that one day you respond to the initial post, and then on a different day you respond to your peers, and that'll give you that 2 day requirement, and you'll get the 5 points for that. For content relevance, all posts conveyed a clear understanding of the forum's primary topic indicated by correct use of terminology, valid reasoning, and or evidence to substantiate your claims. In other words, to have a reference and or opinions. So all posts were at least 150 words in length. By all posts, I mean not only your initial discussion, but also your responses to your peers, so that within 150 words, you will have conveyed a clear understanding of the forum's primary topic. Okay. And so important that all of your posts are 150 words in length or more. Okay. And then that'll give you the full 5 points. Respond to the main topic by the deadline, that's 5 points. And then references given includes reference for the article given in the civil discourse instructions and is written in APA style, and that will give you your 5 points. So when we talk about the main topic by the deadline, so during week one, the deadline for your main topic post is going to be it's going to be on Friday of week one. After that, so weeks 2 through week 8, your response to the main topic will be due by Wednesday of that week. Okay. So week one, it's Friday. Weeks 2 through 8, it is going to be on Wednesday. All right. And then authentic servant leadership at GMC, that is something that we are working to show students what to look for authentic servant leadership and how to possess these characteristics within yourself. And so the characteristics are civility, ethical thinking, humility, critical thinking, empathy, effective communication, and emotional intelligence. And so you're going to look for these not only in yourself, but in others around you. And so read through this information. It gives you more details about authentic servant leadership. And we're also going to use this as our civil discourse forum for week one. And so you'll get to learn more about it and be able to apply it to an actual situation. All right. And then the course summary down here, this is a breakdown of each week and the due dates, and it also gives you the times, okay? So one thing I do want to point out is during week 8 is a bit different than most of our weeks in that week 8 ends on a different day than Sunday, and it also ends at a different time than 11:59. And so week 8, with the exception of the Civil Discourse Forum due date does not change throughout weeks 2 through 8. But the other assignments, like the final exam, the week 8 laboratory, and the week 8 problem set, are going to be due on Tuesday, October the 7th by 9 a.m. So this is in the morning. So you want to make a special note of this, that there is a big difference in week 8. And I'm going to send out announcements and give you a heads up closer we get to time to remind you of those changes in the due date. But I do want to point that out at the beginning so you can keep that in the back of the mind that, okay, week 8 is going to be a bit different. All right, so that's the syllabus. The announcements is where I post all the announcements that I want to convey to you throughout the week. Okay, so there's announcements about the welcome, artificial intelligence and the use, the third party policy, withdrawing versus dropping a course, late work policy, tips for overcoming test anxiety, the due dates for discussion forums, and the welcome to the week one. So each week I will welcome you to that week, give you any tips that I have for you for that week, and then also during that week I will do a wrap up. Okay, so I'll welcome you at the beginning, then I'll wrap it up towards the end of the week, and just to keep you on track, give you any tips that I've seen occur with students or any mistakes that may be in the class that people have pointed out. I'll mention that in my wrap up week, but I will post that in the announcements. So please check through the announcements so you know what's going on. The Vital Source course material, this is where you'll find access to the lab kit that I talked about. And so it'll come up and there is a voucher that you'll get. You don't see it here yet. It will show up during week 1. So make sure you check back to make sure that you get that lab kit ordered as soon as possible. The modules, this is where you can access all of the modules for the class, okay? There are dates, they are locked until that week opens, but you can see that there's other information. Another way to access the week's information is on the homepage. You have quick links here to each of the weeks. So one thing I did want to mention that in the different weeks, you'll see what the reading material is for that week. So for week 1, the reading material, you'll have this information here. And if there's something from the book that's part of the weekly reading material, it will show you that as well. Okay. There's also supplemental material. Some of these are videos and some are reading materials. That's just to help you understand what you will be doing for that week. And it'll also help you understand how to do the different quizzes and problem sets that are available to you. But at any time, if you have questions, please reach out to me and let me know. Assignments give you like a quick way to get an assignment. Very important that you go through the module first because that gives you the reading material and also the videos that you need for the class. But say you've already gone through all of that information and you just need a quick access to the civil discourse forums or the problem sets or the quizzes or the exams or the labs, then you would go here. Okay. Grades, that's where you'll find your grade for the class. BrainFuse online tutoring, this is where you'll have access to the online tutoring. So you'll launch the BrainFuse and it's going to come up with my information because I'm logged in, but it will come up with the student dashboard. It'll give you information on how to do it and the writing lab, live tutoring, all of that information. It will be set up as a student, okay? And so make sure that you click on that because that's really helpful for students to get that help, extra help that you need for the class. The rubrics, these are the civil discourse form rubric, the lab report rubric. You don't have to worry about the assessment rubric, okay? And then people, that gives you access to the students in the class if you want to know a little bit, if you want to reach out to a particular student, say during the meet and greet, one of the students said that they work for a particular place and you want to know more about that place, or if you want to collaborate with the class to work on different assignments, then that's where you would find their emails. Starfish is where we send out information on how you're doing in the class. And so you may get someone to reach out to you about how you're doing in the class and offer different resources that are available to you as students. Here is a quick access to the library resources, the Writing Nook, and that's all that you'll have access to for this class. All right. Oh, let me go back to the class. Oh, I have to go back. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go back home. All right. And so that's all that I wanted to show you for this class. If you have questions as you're going through and you say, oh, I saw the video, but I really didn't understand, or I really need help with this, then my access to my information is here. My email, lbatiste@gmc.edu, or my number, 478-387-4927. If it is during office hours. And during office hours, I am going to have a link on the homepage that you can click on and it'll go right to my Zoom page. I haven't added that yet, but I am going to add that before week one starts so that you'll have access to that during office hours. But if you need to reach me and it is not office hours and you want to send me an email or give me a call, if I don't answer, then please leave me a message. On the message, please tell me your name and which class you're referring to and your phone number, callback phone number. Also, for the email, please tell me your name and the class you are referring to, and I will get back with you within 24 hours. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's have an awesome term.